A very good morning once again. I'm glad you're still with us here on Morning at NTV. Time now to take note. Navigating the future of the banking sector. ESG transformation in the financial services industry. Now, ESG is a word that may be getting many of us not, or rather unawares, but we shall be talking about environmental, social, and governance. That is ESG, which has increasingly become a subject of discussion around the globe across all sectors, the financial services sector no exception. In March 2023, the Bank of Uganda officially launched its sustainability certification process under the Sustainability Standards and Certification Initiative, or SSCI, by the European Organization for Sustainable Development. The third National Development Plan details 8 programs which incorporate Uganda's commitments to regional and international development frameworks on cross-cutting issues, including ESG, but also the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which are 17. And of course, within that are 169 targets. Uganda Bankers Association has therefore focused on the ESG role in the financial perspective as this year's annual Bankers Conference gets underway. Here to talk to us about everything ESG is Mrs. Patricia Amito Lutwama. She is the head of corporate communications at the Uganda Bankers Association. Most welcome to the program.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Much. Good morning.
First things first, tell us about this year's annual Bankers Conference and, well, in line with the theme, navigating the future of banking, ESG, sustainability and digital transformation.
Thank you and good morning to our viewers. As mentioned, my name is Patricia. I represent the Uganda Bankers Association. The annual Bankers Conference, maybe to give it perspective.
That's right.
This is our 7th conference, and it's a platform that was established to drive conversations among stakeholders within the banking and financial services sector. Conversations about trends that we are seeing, but most importantly to reposition the industry, the sector, to be responsive to some of these opportunities or trends that we're seeing. So the annual Bankers Conference this year is focusing on the theme navigating the future of banking, specifically ESG, sustainability and digital transformation. Okay. And you might ask, what is ESG?
I was just going to say that, despite making an earlier attempt in our preamble to define it.
Yes, so ESG is really environment, social and governance. So probably out there you're wondering, so what? Why should I be bothered about ESG?
Especially for bankers.
Especially for bankers. So as it is, financial performance, and it's beyond banking, beyond financial institutions. It's any institution that's in business.
That's right.
Financial performance of your institution, there's an interconnectedness between your financial performance and the sustainability goals that you hold up.
That's right.
I'll give you an example, a very simple example. If in the past, as an institution, you've been putting in a lot of money, or you've incurred a lot of costs in terms of printing, and this time around you say, as part of your sustainability goals, you want to reduce on the printing cost on use of paper. We want to go digital. If, say, there are minutes that have to be shared, I don't have to print them on paper. I can send it through an email, I can send it through a phone, and you can have this read. That is a goal that you've chosen as an institution to stand by as part of creating efficiency, but most importantly, you're going to have increase in profitability, in savings that then can be channeled to the clients that you serve. So ultimately, as you make these investments or determine that these are my sustainability goals, this is what I want to be investing in, you will then have the customers benefit. And as financial institutions, why it's very important for us, we play a very pivotal role in terms of this whole sustainability agenda. Why? Because we are at a point or at a position where we can channel capital to transformative investments. We can channel capital to projects that are sustainable. But for us to be able to do that, we have to understand what this ESG is. How does it play out for us?
That's right.
To be able to support ourselves, our staff, our institutions, and ultimately the customers that we serve.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me cluster that into two. My own understanding of these matters might be quite pale, so you're going to have to help me and our audience. When you channel capital to projects and endeavors by the business world that are sustainability anchored, and then is that any different from climate financing?
No.
Or climate financing falls under the greater sustainability agenda?
Climate financing is within the sustainability.
Within the sustainability agenda.
The sustainability agenda.
All right.
Yeah. And importantly to note is institutions, including our own financial institutions, are becoming increasingly aware or starting to understand or wanting to understand what is the impact of our operations.
That's right.
On one, the environment that we serve. If you're lending to, say, somebody, an entrepreneur who wants to set up a factory in a swamp, or has to cut down, say, trees to set up a factory, what does that mean for the environment? There's a negative impact there. Secondly, what is the impact of your operations on equitable treatment of your employees? Because many times we forget that the people who actually put our businesses out there are the people we employ.
That's right.
But how are you treating them? What are some of the policies you've put inside that institution to facilitate that process? Then thirdly, it is what's your stand as an institution? And that speaks to governance. What's your stand as an institution on issues such as bribery? As simple as it is, bribery, tax evasion. Those speak to one, longevity of your business. If you evade taxes, give it 3-4 years down the road, there will be a repercussion.
Yeah, there's going to be that.
So it's important for us to take, one, awareness that we need to be thinking about these things, but most importantly, what are we putting in place to ensure that we are complying? And sustainability as it is, or ESG, is a global concern. And we are part of the globe. So we cannot be out here on governance principles.
Okay. I understand in 2022, the Bank of Uganda conducted a situation analysis to establish the banking industry's way of doing things with regard to ESG, sustainability, and to inform the need for new guidelines and regulations. Has there been a protocol that has been outed that all financial institutions, including those that are outside the mainstream banking industry, that they can co-opt into operations in order to be onboarded in the future? Yeah,
that's a very good question. And yes, that study was conducted by Bank of Uganda. And Bank of Uganda has been very keen, a very important stakeholder for us, championing integration of ESG principles and sustainability across the supervised financial institutions. When that study was conducted, the key thing that came out from that study was, one, in terms of understanding or the meaning of ESG among the institutions, was very varied, very different views.
That's right.
Somebody will tell you, yeah, I am contributing to ESG and I am planting trees. and that's what they have done.
Yeah.
Another will give you another example. So there were different views. That's what the study brought out. But also importantly is that it was also focusing on financial inclusivity. And what we said, what the report, after that report came out, we had follow-up discussions with Bank of Uganda. Because it was also noted that the institutions that are inside there, or the financial institutions under our umbrella, are at different levels of this integration. There are those who have taken the journey way faster or way higher, and there are those who have barely started. And we said there is need for that standardization. One, for that the meaning of or understanding of ESG is uniform. There is a holistic approach to addressing ESG or integration of these principles across the institutions. And on the 4th of June this year, because after the study we undertook to develop an ESG framework for the banking industry. And that framework was officially launched by the Deputy Governor on the 4th of June. What that framework ideally seeks to do is give that harmonization approach for a financial institution, banking institution, to be able to take those 1, 2, 3 steps as towards ESG integration in their system. And at the end of the day, this is what they are going to be looking at. And there are 3 pillars in that framework. High level. The first pillar is looking at ESG in terms of governance. Like I said, what is your stand on certain governance issues? The other is looking on sustainable finance. What are the alternative products, financing mechanisms that financial institutions have? The third is looking on risk management. What are some of the risks that we need to take note of, and how do we mitigate, how do we work around these risks?
That's right.
The final one is on reporting and disclosure. How do I report in terms of ESG? How do I report if I've given, say, a credit facility towards a green business? How do I report that I've invested on businesses that are supporting green? And we believe with the guidelines, because these are guidelines, the framework as it is in summary, are really guidelines that will help institutions be able to measure the degree to which each institution is actually complying and integrating some of the ESG principles. And importantly is for us or each institution to determine what are your sustainability goals that you want to work towards. That's the very first question that needs to be answered. That's right.
Now, earlier you spoke about the fact that across the world, the banking industry has very much embraced ESG. There was a recent call by the President of Kenya when he was hosting a very landmark conference, and he voiced concerns about the global financial architecture and how it has to change to be able to allow for Africa and many of the countries in the global south to grow to levels that are more like the West. I want to talk about green bonds. Across Europe and the United States, these have been put into the mainstream. I don't know whether the banking industry here in Uganda has rolled out green bonds. Do you intend to?
No,
What is holding you back?
Like I said, we are starting.
You're starting.
ESG,
this is part of the...
This is part of the framework that we have put together.
Okay.
We are starting with, because like I said, for you to be able to support and get into some of those products, you have to know where you're coming from. You have to understand it. Yeah.
And
so one of the things that we're doing as an industry through the Institute of Banking and Financial Services is capacity building for the staff of the financial institutions, educating them on ESG. So they have a good understanding of this. What this will do is, at the end of the day, ultimately, you're going to be able to then make investments towards products, towards services that speak that same language. But as it is now, we are in the journey. The journey has just started, and we will get to that point of the green bonds and various products that will come.
All right. Yes. Now, talking about navigating the future of banking, the theme does reveal that maybe there could be a little bit of, hurdles here and there in defining what the future of banking is. To the outsider out here, in terms of technology and digital transformation, so much has been done, and we are wondering what is left in as far as digital transformation in the banking industry is concerned. What is left to improve things? What are you looking at?
Yes, very good question. And there's so much still left. I must tell you that there's still so much that is left when you talk about the future of banking. The future of banking, and our very first conference in 2017 was focusing on the future of banking.
Yeah.
And in there,
looking at it.
And we're still looking at it because, like you said, the sector as it is very dynamic. There are so many new players that have come in. That's right. There are too many technology advancements that have come in. We have fintechs that have even come in at this point. We are talking of ESG. There's an emergence of AI, artificial intelligence, that people need to understand. Is it a good thing or bad thing? How should I protect myself? We have had incidences, not in Uganda, but away, where someone has convened a meeting with AI and he thinks he's with a team. And he's actually not with the team. But yes, in terms of the future of banking and specifically to the conference that we're holding tomorrow, there are three key areas we're going to focus on, which will speak to where the future is in terms of, yes, there's technology. And we've emerged. 2021, when we had our conference, we focused on bend but don't break. Specifically because we were recovering from COVID-19. And there were things that had changed since. We were more technology bent. There are things you could do physically before, but now you realize I can actually do this without having a physical presence. So one of the things we're going to look at is sustainable banking. What are those aspects that will ensure that the bank of today is responding to the needs of the people, but most importantly, you are running an efficient institution. There are issues around how do we as a sector position ourselves to be able to ensure that the people will serve or the environment that we are serving continues to exist in the future. The other we're looking at is specifically on innovation and technology. How will this support with ESG? In terms of reporting, for example, if you look at technology, if you go technology way, how are you able to collect data on ESG and be able to report it to show where you're going or what you have been able to do? The other one is on green financing. I'm sure many of us have heard about green financing. We have had instances where we say there are green financing products available at our financial institutions, but even the customers have no idea of what it is. So there's a whole education that has to happen both internally for us, but also beyond. And then the very last one is on energy sustainability. The issues of renewable energy, biomass, what are some of the products in this field that are there, that are available to the public or to the clients. So those are some of the high-level conversations. We shall go deep into it, and we have a range of stakeholders, sustainability experts who will be on these discussions.
In fact, I was just going to ask, who are the stakeholders you've invited? What keynote speakers will be? Can you share so that those people out there, you also talk to us about the venue where the Bankers Conference is going to be?
Okay, will do. So the conference will be tomorrow, 19th. The doors will open at 8 a.m. The beauty about it is going to be both virtual, online. You can follow the conversation online, and then physical to those who have received their invitations. And our keynote for this session, ESG governance, is going to be Dr. Martin Odu. He's from Nairobi, Kenya. He's the former CEO of KCB, but also he has served the Treasury at Kenya. Very, very resourceful gentleman, and very, very important points that he has to share. We've spoken to him, and he's very excited to come and share his experiences as regards governance, leadership, ESG, among other things. We'll also have definitely our chairperson, Mr. Julius Kaketo of Postbank. He'll also speak to us. Postbank has also experiences that I can share, but broadly he will speak to us as an industry, what the industry is looking at. The PSST Minister of Finance, Mr. Ramadan Ngobi, will be with us. In terms of the different discussions or persons, resource persons, we have persons from the financial institutions themselves. We'll have representatives from there. We'll have representatives from energy, the energy sector. We'll have representatives from the fintechs, the likes of MasterCard. MasterCard is a card scheme that will be with us also.
All right.
Yeah.
Talking about the PSST during the post-budget dialogue that was hosted by NTV and of course supported by Absa Bank and Deloitte, he said banks are sitting on a huge cache of money, and it's important that you give some of this money to the government so that we can meet our revenue targets when it comes to financing the budget for the financial year 2024-2025. I'm sure he's going to want feedback.
Yes, and we'll give him that feedback
All right.
on that day.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you very much, Patricia Amito Lutwama, Head Communication and Corporate Affairs, Uganda Bankers Association, for sharing. Of course, your perspective has emboldened our understanding of matters ESG and how the banking sector is navigating some of those particular challenges in order to shape a future for clients, but not only clients, and all the players in the industry. Many thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And that will do it for Take Note, but do stay with us. The Kickstarter discussion will be beginning in earnest. We shall be breaking down the tax regime in light of the new taxes that were introduced and of course announced by the Minister for Finance as he read the budget speech on Thursday last week. We do have eminent persons who will be helping us understand why the 100 Uganda shillings increment on a particular tax is going to affect you and exactly how you must be able to embrace taxes because you must pay in order for the services to be provided. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.